Hi, and thank you for joining me for another morning of Coffee Chats with Toby. Today, we're going to be delving into the mindset side of things, where I'm going to give you my take on the one and only best in the field, best in the game, Tony Robbins, and his take on the 6 human needs, basically for success and fulfillment. If you haven't already gotten some of the stuff or had a look into Tony Robbins' kind of plethora of information and things out there, he is truly one of the greats. And although my first interpretation of him was a bit that he was all into the kind of finance realm, or even potentially just a salesman and really good at selling himself, the truth of the matter is, after watching one of his or an interview with him, actually from my favorite podcast, which is Impact Theory by Tom Bilyeu, I kind of decided that I was going to give him a shot and stop being so close-minded for myself, and kind of delve deeper into his work. And geez, I've just learned an incredible amount. But the one thing that really kind of struck me, that I thought, look, I had to kind of get this out to you guys, is his work around the 6 needs of us as humans. So before we kind of get into that, though, I do have a bit of a shout out and one quote that I really want to share with you. And it was actually, well, I first heard it from a previous mentor of mine, Jason Pilgrim, from the Kaizen group. I've heard it first from him, but it's something that I continually kind of jump back to and use a lot in terms of my own growth, and basically putting a check on myself to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to kind of look after myself as much as possible. And the quote is, "To know and not to do is not to know." So I'm going to say it again. To know and not to do is not to know. So what basically that means is if we know something and we don't do it, unless we've purposely decided not to do it, we don't really know it enough. Because if we knew it enough, we would be doing it, right? It's that whole notion of, and what it kind of gets tied to a lot is when someone is helping you out and we're sitting there and we go, yeah, I know. What that actually does is it shuts us down and closes our mind off. Whereas if we were to sit there and have a different kind of mindset, or approach the information that someone is so lovingly and willingly giving us to help us, if we kind of targeted that or looked at that in a different notion and thought, isn't that interesting? Even if we may have heard it before, we can try and take something different to us. What that does in our mind, in our mindset, is it completely does a whole new shift. And what it does is it makes us think more about what it is that we're listening to. It can kind of be attributed to another quote I only recently heard from a podcast from Tom Bilyeu with his wife, actually. And that one was, he doesn't believe there's such thing as a performance, only practice. And what that means is that it puts him in a mindset of forever being the student, willing and wanting to learn. If we're continuing to see everything as a practice, well, we're continuing to put ourselves in the headspace of wanting to learn more and continuing to grow. So without further ado, I'm going to get stuck into the main core of today's session, and that is delving into the 6 needs directly given to me by Tony Robbins. So if you want to delve into the source itself, go check out his stuff. This is just my interpretation of those 6 rules. So the first 2, or the first one that we as humans need with anything that we do, is certainty. Okay? So basically what this means is that we need some level of certainty in anything that we do. That the certainty of the result that we're going to achieve from this. And what that does is it obviously means that we as people need some level of security or safety in what it is we're doing. If we're going to buy something, we need certainty that it is what we want, it is what we think it is, and that we're buying that thing, and that the result we're going to get from that thing is going to help us in whichever way that we're wanting to go. So that's the first need. We need certainty. And the second thing, which almost sometimes seems a little counterintuitive, is we actually need some level of variability, or what some people can kind of terminate or give the terminology of is uncertainty. We actually crave this level of uncertainty or this level of variety in everything that we do and need. And I personally really love this one, because in my opinion, the quickest way to unhappiness or a lack of fulfillment is boredom. To me, I think it is the easiest way to kill the soul, is to create boredom or a lack of variability of variation in our life. So that's the second thing. So far we've got certainty. We need that level of certainty in what it is that we're doing. And then we also need some level of variability to eradicate boredom and make sure that we're continuing to encounter and receive different things and different circumstances and different stimulus to keep us intrigued and interested. The third thing that we need is a level of significance. We need to feel like we matter. We need to feel that we have a purpose and that what we are doing and who we are is significant to something, someone, or some greater purpose. So that's the third one, the third need for our for humans' existence and level of fulfillment. So again, to go through that, we have certainty, variability, and now significance. The fourth thing, and one thing that a lot of people answer when asked, what is it that you need in life as a human being? A lot of people will answer love, right? They need a level of love, or they need to feel love or be able to give love. And this is 100% absolutely our fourth thing, but we like to broaden that out and kind of look at that more as a connection. So the fourth thing that we need as humans is a connection. So we need to feel connected. So whether that be through love, something's going on over there, whether that be love, or whether it be just that connection with a greater purpose, or a connection with our loved ones or our friends or our family. Connection is the fourth thing that we need as humans. So again, we've got certainty, variability, significance, and now that connection side of things. Now we're about to get in my entire purpose for life. Me personally, the thing that if you talk to any of my team members, the thing that I put the most important or importance on when trying to improve myself and my business and my team members and everyone around me, and that is growth. So growth is the fifth thing that we as humans need. We need to feel like and be continuing to grow in one aspect or multiple aspects of our life. So the fifth thing that we need to encounter, or the fifth thing that Tony Robbins thinks is a need for us as humans, is growth. So we need to be progressing in one way, shape, or form. A nice little quote that I love, or not really quote, but it's a comparison that I oftentimes make with myself in the animal kingdom, actually, is sharks. So sharks, funnily enough, actually die if they don't move forward. Something about the gills and the water and oxygen or something like that. But I like to think of myself as a shark, and not from the aggressive side of things, although I do like to attribute myself to that as well. But more so that if I'm not moving forward in a given direction, to me, I'm moving backwards. So if I'm continuing to look for or strive for growth and not necessarily perfection, but growth in a certain direction, well, then I know that a lot of other aspects of success in life will come to me. Another way of explaining this is a lot of people talk about falling in love with the journey. Well, to me, that's the same thing. If you fall in love with the journey, you're falling in love with the growth aspect of where it is that you're wanting to go. Another way, I believe Simon Sinek, another legend in his field for mindset and marketing, actually, talks about having a growth mindset. So I strongly agree with all of these guys that suggest that growth is one of the most important things. So we've got certainty, we've got variability, we've got significance, we've got connection, we've just added growth, And the sixth and final thing that we need as humans in anything that we do is contribution. So we need to feel like we're contributing. So this is where that philanthropic kind of thing comes into play with a lot of millionaires or billionaires or even anyone who has something to give. It's that sense of fulfillment from contributing to something bigger or greater than ourselves. It's that altruistic kind of adding to something that is far greater than anything that we as one individual can achieve or contribute to. So for me, it's about that rings really true to me and comes in very heavily into my vision for myself, and the vision of the business, which is to through innovation revolutionize health. So health is far greater than me or even my business can ever be on its own, but by adding or contributing to that entire sector of everybody's life, that helps to create or fulfill that need of me and my team for the greater good or our sense of contribution. And that's it, guys. That's the 6. So to go through them one more time, we've got certainty, we've got variability, we've got significance, we've got a sense of connection, the willingness or want for growth, and last but not least was contribution. So if we nail all those things, we're doing pretty good. And we should actually be very conscious of these 6 things when looking to purchase or get involved in anything else that we get involved in our life. So thanks very much for joining me this morning for the coffee chat with Toby. And next week, we're going to go back to the more physical or practical side of things with something else that we're going to talk about. So I look forward to catching up with you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and an amazing week, and take care until then. Cheers, guys.